Hello, Marvelites. You're watching This Week in Marvel, and I'm Ryan, A.K.A. Agent M.
And I'm C.B. Cebulski, Editor-in-Chief.
And every month through 2019, we are focusing specifically on a different decade for Marvel because we're celebrating our 80th anniversary for the 1980s. We're talking about the X-Men. And you and I both have deep ties and the X-Men are our hearts.
Yeah, exactly. It was the comics we were reading growing up.
Here are 5 X-Men issues from the 1980s CB and I think you have to read. We're going to start early on with issue number 143, which is a great Kitty Pryde-focused issue.
Chris Claremont and John Byrne, one of the most amazing creative teams with Terry Austin on inks. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's part horror story, part like being alone and finding out who you are story.
I really think that John Byrne defined what the X-Men were with his art.
And we move on from there. Big shoes to fill, but fortunately, with issue number 168, and he had been on for a couple of issues before that, Paul Smith comes in.
And you know what? Professor Xavier's a jerk.
This one is sort of your prototypical X-Men issue. Drama and feelings and all the dynamics between the characters and huge long-term story building by Chris and company.
Yeah, with Kitty, with Lockheed coming in, with the introduction of Madeline Pryor on that last panel, which was jaw-dropping when you were reading that back then. There was so much that got introduced.
Okay, we're going to jump to issue number 181.
Young Dragons in Love.
There's one particular character you say John Romita Jr. really excels at.
Colossus, just the way that he gave him the mask, but he moved like a cat. And he was just so quick on his feet.
You have Lockheed, who is a personal favorite of ours, falling in love and breaking some hearts at the same time.
Yeah.
And then just a couple of months later, we go to 186. This one is Life, Death, a Love Story. Chris Claremont, Barry Windsor-Smith.
Barry Windsor-Smith. He only did a handful of X-Men issues, but left his mark on these characters in such an indelible way in the minds and hearts of fans, over the decades.
And then we're going to jump a little bit further ahead. I'm going with Uncanny X-Men 242.
Chris was able to take the plot points that he's been developing for so long and bring everything to a boil.
And thankfully, he had Mark Silvestri with him. He evolved a lot of the looks and the grit of what those X-Men stories could be.
People remember so many different characters that Mark redesigned or brought new costumes to. He made such an impact on fans visually in that run, which is rather extensive when you think about it.
Yeah. CB and I talk about a lot of X-Men stuff and a lot of Marvel in the 80s in the podcast version of This Week in Marvel Unlimited Reading Club for the 1980s. Check that out, and then we'll be back with the 90s next month. I'm Ryan.
And I'm CB.
And this is Marvel,
Your Universe.